Yes, welcome to the channel. This is coming to you immediately after the first game we played against Athletic Bilbao. This is our last preseason fixture for this particular season, and after today, every other thing that comes next is no longer a game of no consequence. I'm mentioning this because I always call preseason games game of no consequence, meaning that whether you win or you lose, it doesn't really matter because we know it's preseason. But after today, everything that comes next, you have to win. Every goal matters, every tackle matters, every booking you pick up matters too. But back to the discussion for this very moment. We understand that for whatever reason, they decided that we are going to have double fixture today against Athletic Bilbao. So the first game just finished, and that is when this review is coming to you. We won the game comfortably. We scored 4-1. And to be honest with you, when I saw the lineup, at first look, it looked like, oh, this lineup is not strong enough to face Athletic Bilbao. When you look at it carefully, you notice that, oh, okay, we have Nunez there. McAllister was starting the game. Elliot, Jones, Simicas, Robo. So at least for these particular mentions, they are in the first team. But we did not see someone like Van Dijk, we did not see Vert, we did not see Salah. Nonetheless, one thing I like about this club is that regardless of who we see in a lineup, we are there to give them the support. And for today, it paid off because we got the win. The guys played fabulously well. We also got to see the young players play a full length. We know that in this preseason, for the most part of the games we've played so far, we basically play an 11 for the first half of the game. Then for the second half, we'll play a completely different 11. But today, we are seeing something different. So everyone that got into the lineup had opportunity to play for a very long duration. And I know that a lot of us has been waiting for opportunity to watch the likes of Rio and Trey. These two people, these two young lads, are the ones that has been getting the headline throughout this preseason. It is a pleasure to watch them do what they do best in this particular game. Of course, like I said, they played more than 45 minutes and they were very impressive. So before we get deeply into the things that happened in the game, who scored goals, who gave an assist, when did the goals come, and when did we also consider a goal, before we get into that, let's give you a quick team news, because as we all know it, before getting into this game, we already understood that Alisson and Joe Gomez will not be in the game. On the part of Alisson, it is not because of an injury, but he had a personal issue to deal with in Brazil, so he had to fly. I believe the squad were still in Japan when he flight from Japan to Brazil for that particular reason. Same with Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez also had to travel back because of an injury. But for this particular game, before the beginning of the game, a slot came out to say that Van Dijk and Bradley would not be featuring in any of the games that will be played. So for this particular one, we've confirmed it. Van Dijk and Bradley were not there. But for the next one too, none of them would be there. He said that they felt sick. Of course, this shows it's not something serious to worry about. But it circles back to the same thing we've been saying throughout this particular window. We already understand that Kwanzaa is sold and we got good money for it. And I believe selling him is also a very good decision because he struggled to get into the lineup last season and he did not really impress the manager. Letting him go at that point, no problem. I'm okay with that. But at this very point, the major centre backs we have is Van Dijk, who we know that we can only get about 2 or 3 years from him as a Liverpool player. And then we have Konate, who at this very moment is yet to renew his contract. So that one is still up for discussion and maybe he's going to renew, but we're not going to dig deep into it. So the third centre back we have is Joe Gomez, who is always very injured. So it circles back to the fact that we need new players in the centre back position, and I just hope work is being done to get those players. So for this particular game that was played today, we played without any of those centre backs that I mentioned, and that is why Robo had to play in that centre back position. In the first half, Robo is one of those that played in the centre back position. Same with Trey Nayoni. Then in the second half of the game, Trey transitioned into midfield and played a defensive midfield position. Of course, he performed really well both as a centre back and in that defensive midfield position. So back to the sweet part, the goals, the assists, and the things that led to the 4-1 victory we are currently celebrating. The first goal came from Rio. I mean, we can't overemphasize how important he is to this particular squad at this very moment. We can't overemphasize the level of growth we are seeing from him. And he has been very impressive, not just in this game, but for the vast majority of the games we've been playing in preseason. Rio is one of those names that at the end of each game, there is always something good to talk about regarding him. And we saw it again today. That first goal came from him. So in the first half of the game, we scored the first goal from Rio. The second goal came from Nunez. The third goal came from Doak. And Doak is one of the youngsters in the squad that is also very impressive. And at this very point, it seems like we have a lot of really good youngsters in the squad. The thing about Doak, I think about 2 seasons ago, he was also one of those people that got the headline massively. Between then and now, we've not really heard much about him, but for that particular goal, it was very impressive. So that half of the game ended 3-0. And for the second half, at the beginning of the second half, we did just one substitution in the goalkeeping department. And this time around, our Hungarian, basically a third choice goalkeeper, but he's one of the new lads that we bought this particular window. He came in as a substitute. While he did not really have so much to do in the second half of the game, the few moments he was called upon, he did really well. One of those is the 1v1 that he faced, and he pulled a very decent save. Like, it's one of those type of saves we see from the likes of Alisson. Of course, I'm piping it down. He's not Alisson, but that particular save was impressive. So in the second half, we got a goal coming from Elliot, and the assist for that particular goal was delivered by Nunez. So for this preseason as a whole, Nunez has been quite impressive, and it still begs us the question about his future with the squad. We all know that everyone is still looking forward to the news about Alexandra Isak. Getting Isak automatically means that we would have to let go of Nunez, but whatever happens with that, we'll still have a couple of weeks in this transfer window to know what becomes of it. So for the one goal we considered that actually messed up our chances of ending this part of the game with a clean sheet, it came from a defensive error in the 75th minute. That's how we ended up conceding a goal from this one, and it pushed the scoreline to 4-1. Still in favor of us, but we don't have anything to complain about now. Of course, I was really hoping we would get a clean sheet. I mean, going into the game and seeing the lineup, I honestly was not expecting a smooth win like this, but from the first minutes of the game, you just noticed that, oh, these guys are going to have a lot of fun here, and that's exactly what happened. You could see Curtis Jones doing his thing, trying to hold on to the ball, trying to make some careless dribbles, and he was just having a laugh over there. So this first game of the day is worth every minute invested into watching it, and of course, we are looking forward to the next one, which is the second game, still against this same Athletic Bilbao squad. And this time around, in fact, once I go off camera, I'm sure that the lineup would have been out. And I'm very sure that this time around, the lineup we are going to present would be a lineup that is almost similar to our starting lineup next season. So that's it on this particular one.